speaking of the Giants, I'm excited to see this because I remember this Super Bowl and watching the season and how great it was.
I pulled this because I figured this,
9.
Mike.
Yeah.
We're pumped up. We got new blood on the team. They got the best player in the draft. They got their QB. Everyone's kind of like, let's ride. The day after the draft, it was fun. And so it's fun to talk about what you just said, the glory days. It's fun to go back to a time where, hey, maybe we could experience this again one day.
Yeah, so this is a vintage spot from 1991 about the New York Giants in the Super Bowl. So let's take a look.
Let's do it.
The Giants led by a single point. 8 seconds remain. The stage was set for a heart-stopping finish in what would become the greatest Super Bowl ever. And now, Sports Illustrated lets you relive the Giants' most exciting season ever on True Blue. Giants steps to the Super Bowl, highlighting all 16 regular season games, the playoffs, and the Super Bowl.
Oh my God, I love this.
With your paid subscription to America's
this is so great.
#1 sports magazine.
I'm just pleased we got off to a 3-0 start.
Just completed by NFL Films. It's over 50 minutes of power football.
See half play, 42-8.
Explosive offense.
Touchdown tomorrow! Way down to Baker, baby! Touchdown! Oh, James, the goal line, touchdown!
And devastating defense.
Hickman back inside the 5, throws, tipped high, intercepted by Taylor, he'll score! Big rush, steps up and throws, intercepted!
Call to order or renew for the free video, plus sports as only Sports Illustrated can deliver. At over 50% off the cover price. You can pay by credit card and enjoy 23 weeks of in-depth coverage and revealing profiles that show you the people underneath the padding, including the baseball preview and the 91 swimsuit issue.
Ooh.
Yes.
Recall the turning points.
Misogyny.
Did I even still exist anymore?
I think it does. I think it's only digital though.
Oh, okay.
Against the Niners, I remember that. I remember watching it with my grandparents in my living room, jumping in the air.
Just put it on your credit card.
Oh, were you back then about 9?
9, yeah. It was the 90 season and the Super Bowl was in 91, so I was 9 going on 10. That's
all right. Very, very young.
4th grade, yeah. There it is, famous. That's the famous shot. That's so okay.
There's a lot to unpack here, and the reason why. No, doesn't it make you happy? Doesn't this kind of pump you up between this and the draft? Doesn't it kind of just pump you up a little bit?
I'm ready.
It does. We're ready for fall already, even though we have to live through an awesome summer because we're baseball guys and I'm a beach guy.
Yeah, it's the thing. Like those are the Giants I rooted for. That was the fun, and this Giants team now. It's like and it's like you see this, it's like Giants,
ever since that second, Oh, dude, flat top. I always have to point out the flat top, even if we already did that 2 minutes ago. But
old school look, yeah.
Ever since that second time they took down Brady and the Patriots, they've been basically terrible for a full decade now at this point. More than that, really. They had one victory. But yeah, this is so fun to watch because, you and I, we love the vintage stuff. And I know you saw most of this live, so it's weird to call it vintage. But I just there's so many things you can point out about the differences between the early 90s sport and what we have now. Right. The one that jumped out at me is you see the helmets they're wearing where they actually say Giants. They don't wear those that often anymore. They mostly wear the NY with the underline now. And that's one thing that always jumps out at me when I see the old Giants footage. Is just the Giants helmets. I like them.
The NY was their old look back in I guess the 60s prior to the 20s or wherever they started putting logos on helmets. So they've worn that look the most, but for me, I born in the 80s, 81, and this is the Giants I knew.
That was the Giants you knew.
And now, look at the Jets. They went to their Jets. See, the Jets went back to their old uniforms. The funny thing is when Parcells took over the Jets, he said, we're wearing the Super Bowl uniforms from 69 because that's when you guys won. 69. So, but those green Jets uniforms were associated with losing so much. And now they brought them back because now they're classic. Well, this Giants uniform is vintage now. Huh?
That was the sack exchange uniforms too, wasn't it?
Yeah. And then they had a little black in the lining layer. Yeah. So
the other thing too that jumps out at me is that remember the NFL and a lot of people from the current generation don't remember this, but NFL wasn't the main sport in the country until like 20, 30 years ago. So when you look at a lot of these old footage, there's a lot of single level stadiums that these games are taking place in. You can point out a few actually in this ad if you look closely. And also too, remember the Giants, didn't they play in Yankee Stadium for like a number of years when the NFL first started too?
Back up until the 70s, yeah, they played in Yankee. Well, I think they started in the Polo Grounds and played with the baseball Giants, and then they moved to Yankee Stadium. I have to check that about the Polo Grounds, but they played at Yankee Stadium forever. So yeah, they were the Bronx. They were New York team forever.
So yeah, exactly. The point I'm making is that nowadays every single team has these like brand new, except for the Giants and Jets, of course, because we've got the most embarrassing stadium in the whole league. You look at some of these new stadiums that are going up, like the one that the Colts has, that big brick one, the one that Minnesota has, LA, of course, and the NFL, I was about to say arenas, stadiums, they are some of the craziest pieces of architecture of the last 100 years, if you really look at it. But then you only have to go back 25 years, 30 years, and you see these extremely bland, sometimes single level stadiums, and you can feel the sort of outdatedness of them, you know?
Yeah, it wasn't until like the mid to late 80s, early 90s that football started taking over in basketball, and that's you started seeing a down.
Like right here, this one. That is a single. That's a single level.
Yeah, it looks that way, right? Yeah, the top was like all utility started or whatever, but yeah, old football. and they those. I mean, what was I going to say? The ground, some of those
right there,
stadiums,
right there. That's a single level.
Well, that was in Tampa Bay. Yeah, totally. Yeah. So the turf stadiums, you were playing on top of concrete essentially. It was turf, concrete under it, pretty much. You know, and a lot of guys were getting hurt. So
and also look at that single. This I don't know. I don't know the name for this, so don't beat me up, hardcore football fan. The single
for the kicker,
the single bar helmets.
Scott Norwood. That's the guy.
You could just reach in and grab those too. That's one of the reasons I think why they don't make those anymore.
Matt Barr. So that's Matt Barr, number 9. The Giants had Matt Barr and Sean Landetta, and then this is Scott Norwood, who we want to have as a guest one day on the other side of the ball.
Oh,
he missed this field goal, and the Giants won 20-19. You know, so we want to hear his side of the story if he's mentally healthy enough to tell it. You know, these guys probably went through hell after that loss.
You think about it, he was he's probably only 60 something now.
Yeah,
I mean, these guys are all in their 20s in the 90s, so they're probably not like old.
Yeah. So this is nice. This was fun. The phones are open 24/7.
I wonder if you were to call that number. What that number is now? It's probably like a naughty chat line or something, or it goes to like a scammer in India or something.
You actually call Scott Norwood and you laugh at him. No,
that's his personal phone number. It's a 1-800 number. He's so lonely that he's willing to pay to hold a toll-free number.